Good morning, guys. Welcome to reading class. The storm. That's the story we are reading. Let's continue with the reading and let's predict what else is going to happen in the story according to the previous information. Remember that tornadoes can cause a great deal of damage and the people sometimes lose their life. In this story, Jonathan has acted like a strong and sensible person. Wow, okay, he has acted. Remember, he is alone at home and a tornado suddenly appeared. With him in the house, there are two horses. Do you remember the name of the horses?
No.
No. In the last,
Father. One lies like father.
check your notebook. The name of the two horses appeared in the last information we copied yesterday. Check your notebook, Alan.
And Henry and Bus.
Henry and
I just know
Buster.
that the name and Buster.
Buster and Henry are the names of two horses. Are in the house or like a farm, maybe, with Jonathan. Jonathan is a boy in a wheelchair. Unfortunately, he suffered a car accident and he finished in a wheelchair. He's taking therapies in order to strengthen his body, especially the arms, because now his arms is gonna move the whole body. Legs are not useful. Legs cannot help him to move the body, so he needs to have more strength in his arm.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to copy now.
We are going to read. So far, we have read the first part of the story while Jonathan is in the school and the teacher is explaining how to be safe during a tornado, what safety things or safety rules you need to follow, okay? Also, we saw the mom and in the story explain how mom and dad have improved the house, adding ramps, adding handhold, pasamanos, making the spaces a little bit wider so he can pass easily with the wheelchair. Look at in this picture, we can see the horse. Okay, so he loves animals. He loves animals, but suddenly here, the radio, that's radio still calling and says that a tornado is coming. It's warning them, but Jonathan is home alone. He's alone in the house. So let's see what happened. Remember that he had a problem. He had like a decision to take. He needs to take a decision. The two horses cannot escape, cannot run. Alan, is the last time I said sit down properly and stop playing with that chair. Usted está bien entretenido meciéndose en la silla. So please, get close to your computer so you're gonna be able to follow the reading. So if he's thinking, if he really have time to release, para liberar, release the horses or not. So we make a prediction yesterday about that part. I said, do you think Jonathan is gonna have time to release the horses, or is he going to take that decision to release the horses or escape just himself? Okay, so this is what happened. He raced toward them, toward the horses, his arm aching with the effort, his hands burned, quemadas, against the frictions of the rubber of the wheels, because you know he needs the hands and move the wheels with his hands. So says that the hands were burned, estaban como quemadas because of the friction. He didn't think he could push any harder, but the horses have to be saved. He had to save them for that. Dad loved those animals. First, he had to get Buster calm. Yeah, I can imagine. Animals felt danger before us. I don't know, they have like a special sense, and animals felt danger before human does. Okay, first he has to get Buster calm. If he could get him calm, Henry will follow. He held out his sugar cubes. Remember that he has some sugar cubes in the pocket when he was with the horses. So that was like a trick for them, como un premio. After circling and snorting around him, Buster came, and with Jonathan's hands on his neck, allowed himself to be calm enough so that Jonathan could snap on a lead rope. Then he did the same with Henry. On their leads, they followed him back. Inside, one stall was shattered from where Henry must have panicked and kicked. It must have been easy for Buster to force his latch and so race to join Henry. To keep them safe from panic, now Jonathan will have to stay too. Jonathan have to stay with the horses, so they are going to come down inside the barn and not below ground in the safety of the cellar. How could you protect your life during a tornado? You definitely need to go to a safety room. In this case, the only way, or well, I think it's the better idea in order to try to save your life is to go to the basement, go to an underground room, to a cellar. So this is the house. Imagine this is the house. This is the house. Okay, this is the house. But houses in the United States have underground room, a room on the ground. They are called basements, or also they are called cellar. I saw that word here, I read it. Inside, here. To keep them safe from panic, now Jonathan would have to stay not on the ground, okay? On ground, inside the barn, not below ground, in the safety of the cellar. He would glance back as he got inside, and the wall of the tornado seemed to be standing just outside the lot. It was a thing of sound now as much as of color, so loud that even though the horse's mouths were working, he could not hear them. Imagine the noise the tornado was making. Jonathan cannot listen the noises made by the horses. He could not listen that, just the noise made by the tornado. Their frantic fidgeting took all his strength as he tried to control them by touch, by voice, by wheel. If Jonathan cannot calm down the horses, they are gonna start running. If they run, probably they will die in a tornado. He finally coaxed them into an old stall. It wouldn't be any stronger than the shadow one, but he knew nothing would be strong enough now except him. He's soothing them, so he's like can try to relax them. His hands on them, he's like, cuando usted lo quieren calmar, dice, ya pasó, everything is okay. So that person start to probably le empieza a sobar su cabeza. So that was it was doing with the horses. his hand on them, the scent of sugar. He was giving them some sugar. This would be all that would keep them from bolting again. The barn shook. Oh my goodness, that would be so frightening. Shook, trembled. Like a freight train, the twister kept coming. The twister kept coming. The screaming wail of it was inside as well as outside, was inside him. And though he was drenched in sweat and sudor, oh, he was sweating a lot. Of course, he was afraid, he was nervous. He was freezing with goosebumps too. Goosebumps es la piel de gallina. Goosebumps. Cuando se le pone a usted la piel de gallina, eso es goosebumps. Goosebumps too. Each second he expected to be his last. So for a moment, yes, of course, Jonathan thought, I am gonna die here. Shading his eye from the swirling shaft, he tried to squint through the slats of the siding to see. He was trying to see what was happening outside, but it was darker than night, and it was not nighttime, but the tornado covered the sun and becomes dark. Look at the two horses here. But it was darker than night. The electric gone. Now, no electricity. There was just himself and the animals and the pounding of the storm. So deep, so strong. It felt as if the earth itself was shaking, trembling the entire earth. The dry shaft and straw shocked him, and he gave up trying to keep his eye open. Crack, whomp. Suddenly hay swashed down all over them. Hay es la paja. Remember that he was inside the barn. Keeping hold on both lids on one hand, Jonathan tried to move his chair out from under the beam that seemed to hang just over them. Finally, he got to where he could see it resting on the crossbar above the stump. It could have killed them. To work their way out, he had to pull the hay loose from his wheelchair and then tug on the leads, tug and coax. It was then that he realized that thumping had stopped and the wind had lessened and been joined by the pleasanter sound of rain. We are saved. Why are you playing with those discardable glasses? Daniel, he shouted to Buster and Henry, we are saved. That was incredible because it is impressive.
So I got so we got our prediction correct.
So let's write here. Let's write here number 3, not number 2, because I think this one is number 3.
Yes, Miss. Yes, Miss. That yesterday was number 2. It's what we write now during reading.
During reading, Jonathan, copy. Jonathan decided to come back and try to save the horses. He pushed the wheelchair as fast as he could. He came down. What else happened? He pushed the wheelchair as fast as he could. Daniel, you have to be writing down. Now it's time to copy. Not to play with those glasses. Jose Enrique, your camera.
I think
Okay.
he saved the horses. He saved
Yeah.
the horses. But when he pulled the chair, he felt like his hands were burning.
He finally was finally, no, here it says, finally, he was saved with the 2 horses. So this is what it says here. How does the story, the storm, end?
The family of Jonathan died in the tornado.
They were not at home. We need to discover what
There's
happened.
more.
Yeah, we haven't finished the story. So copy this so we can continue reading the story.
The next week.
No, we still have time.
I finished to copy, miss. Please copy. How many pages find? ¿Cuándo página falta?
Miss.
How many pages faltan?
How many pages? I don't know how many. Because we are on page, let me see.
I finished, miss.
No, but if I share this, you're not gonna be able to copy. You copy? Everyone?
Yes. Yes. No.
Okay.
I finished the copy, miss.
Did you? Excellent. Who is copying? Because I need to continue with the reading of the story. Who is copying?
One sentence. Stop.
Okay, you missed one sentence. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Yeah, but I am waiting for Suak, I think.
Miss,
Okay.
I am not copy. I am the correct.
Okay, Diego. But did you copy the information? This is the only information we had copied so far.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Who is copying?
One moment.
Kristen. Sebastian, did you finish? No, you haven't finished.
Finish, miss.
Okay. And Sebastian? Okay. Who is copying? Okay, Santiago.
Miss Crystal.
Crystal. Hurry up, please.
I'm finished.
Good job. So let's go back to the story. So here, Jonathan says, we are saved. Who? Him and the horses. All along the south side of the bar was a mess of hay and straw, small birds, and other litter. See? Hay. Hay es paja, lo que comen los animales, los caballos. Straw, hay and straw. Small borders son pedazos de tablas. Y otra basura, other litter. The rain had settled to...
The first prediction that we made, it was incorrect.
Was incorrect.
Because we say in that it says that the mom and the dad was with Jonathan.
Aha, okay. And they were eating. We said that they were eating, right? That's
It
what we
says
said.
this story is about a family that live on the farm. They
Uh-huh.
are eating and
Eating.
suddenly a tornado appeared.
Aha, but we didn't predict that Jonathan is gonna be alone in the house, that the kids is gonna stay alone. We didn't predict that, so that's a mistake. So we didn't, yeah, that was that one was an incorrect prediction. Aha, so says that rain had settled too. An easy shower and the sounds from the cows sounded normal enough. So he tied Buster and Henry to a post and wheeled himself outside. So he tied up the two horses and he went out of the barn. What he saw took his breath away. The house has grown leaves buried in the branches of the giant oak that had stood beside it. So look what happened. The oak is a big tree that was next to the house. Now it is in the house. The branches of the tree broke up down and fall in the house. The house was destroyed. The barn's entire north side had collapsed. The hay wagon, milking cans, feed buckets, mom's bicycle, bird feeders, fences, clotheslines, las clotheslines son donde uno tiende la ropa, had all changed places, gotten mixed up, twisted. But it was when he looked beyond the house that his blood froze. Everything there was gone. Their hay barn, corn cribs, hay rake, outbuildings, orchard, and oh, Jonathan sucked in his breath. Even the woods, the 2-acre wood, it looked as if someone had gone through it with a scythe. He took his head in disbelief. It was like something of the evening news. So everything disappeared. It was a miracle he was still alive. Incredibly, the only thing left was a neatly stacked 4-foot pile of corn with hardly a splinter of wood to show that there had been a crib around it. A few chickens were already gathering around to claim their unlikely feast. He didn't notice that the rooster was not in his usual place at the head of his flock. Flock is a group of birds. Chickens are birds. So the head or the leader of the group of chicken is one rooster, un gallo. So, and the rooster was not in his usual place. The more he looked, the stranger it all seemed. There was a feed bucket sitting on the slope of the house roof, perfectly, as if someone had set it there on purpose. Up in the elm that had remained standing, he could see one of the wheels from the hay wagon, but no sign of the wagon itself. And sticking straight out from the front door of the house was a white slat from the picket fence driving straight in. Finally, he turned back to the barn to check more carefully the other animals. Though he had gone right past it, he hadn't seen the rooster lying on the ground like a dirty, crumpled rag. But when he picked it up and held the wet, limp body in his hands, he began to cry. He cried hard. And it wasn't like the crying we do when we are sad for someone we love. The rooster wasn't a pet. If anything, he was a bad-tempered, noisy, dumb bird. What mattered was that it was them. So sometimes this one happened to us. We consider our animals not like pets. We consider them like family, and we love them. Our animals at home, we love them. So he loved the rooster because he says it wasn't a pet. It was part of the family. Even though, says, if anything, yeah, the rooster was bad-tempered, was noisy, was dumb, no matter what. Now, it was them. So he feel sad. Jonathan knew then at that moment just how small he had been underneath that terrific power of the storm. He laid the rooster down finally and started to see what he could do to really make sure the other animals were okay. Now that he had time to think more slowly, he also began to worry. Who could tell what else this storm had done? Mom and Dad, were they all right? He heard them before he saw them. The honking of the horn and the rattling of dust that struck through the soybeans. It was absolutely crazy, but everything this day had been crazy. Thank heavens you are right, his mom said, climbing out and running to him and hugging him. He was hugging him. Yes, I can imagine this mom hugging his baby. His dad was dead quiet for a long moment as he looked slowly around. He was looking that everything was destroyed. The house, the barn, animals has gone. Some of them are died. It was a mess. Have a little bit of a storm here, son. And put his hand on Jonathan's shoulder. As Jonathan told them his story, he could see it all again. The blackest, the roaring of the wind, the funny cloud, the cries of the animals, how he had to bring the horses in and stay. The boundary of the barn itself. They listened. They didn't scold or baby him. He felt better than he had for a long time. He knew he had done a thing he could feel good about. He wouldn't care so much now when people looked at him. He knew they would. They would still see his condition, but when they knew his story, they might begin to see a lot more. They might just see him, Jonathan. He was a hero for these animals, right? And he was his own hero too, because he saved his life. He saved the horses. He couldn't save all the animals of the farm. No, it wasn't.
Miss,
Your internet is not good?
me
Yeah.
write another prediction.
No. Now it says check your predictions. Before
Yes, I
we
can
said,
say before reading, the first one is incorrect.
yeah, because we said the family is together. And the family was not together. Mom and dad was
The
out
only
of
thing
the
that
farm.
is right, go to hide. The part that says go to hide, because he didn't have a puppy or yes.
We did a correct prediction. We said Jonathan is gonna come back to save the horses.
Yes.
That's a correct prediction. He did it. He did it. And finally,
Put a check.
and finally, he saved his life and horse's life. So check here. Because no, check.
Put an X in the first one.
Oh, an X in the first one. X in the first one because our prediction was not correct. Okay, so no homework this weekend reading, guys. Thank you for your attention. See you soon. Don't connect late, please. Bye-bye.